Greetings, dear suckers. My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And welcome back to Sunless Rewritten, where we're back here in fallen London, deep, dark, and marvelous, as ever. Before we do anything else, let's drop off these children that are burning a hole in our hold. Eager, and some not-so-eager, parents wait for you by the docks. Joyous unions. You can't simply hand the tykes over, of course. There are men from the Ministry of Public Decency to ensure that the transfer goes smoothly, and so that no one just grabs children that don't belong to them. It's a slow, exhausting affair of papers to sign and licenses to be checked and rechecked. One couple must walk off with the wrong child and are all but tackled by a special constable. Still, your heart is warm by the end of it. The ship seems strangely quiet now. That's probably because the music just ended. Well, 375 echoes is music to my ears. How does that compare to the Salt Lions, I wonder? Comes out to the same, actually. Assuming the same number of children as Sphinx Stone? Because Sphinx Stone in the original Sunless Sea costs 200 echoes per 20. So it comes out to the same. Don't dawdle. They grow up so fast. The oldest profession. A tradition old as time. That's certainly a, interesting name for it. At any rate, let's drop off all our port reports then, shall we? Hermitage. We've lost good captains to that place. Don't go crawling into one of those holes yourself, you hear? Laneax Retreat. Dear God, you were cleared by a doctor before leaving, weren't you? I didn't go anywhere near the doctors. The human factory. Good, good. It's vitally important to London's survival. Apparently. Not sure how exactly that works, but okay. Castle Kisumoto. I don't suppose you've been inside? No, I thought not. The Infernal Canal. Ah, the path to Dis. What's the state of the mine? Arms of the Machine? Marvelous engine. Soon to be our most reliable trading partner, you know. Didn't know that, actually. Crying Heights. Gnomon. Frightening things. I'll bet. The Kraken Shoot. Disgusting creature. But useful in its way. Did that change? The Sunshade Redoubt. A frustrating lot. Their conclusions cannot possibly be correct, yet they're so well documented. Cannot possibly be correct. Why is that, I wonder? What even are their conclusions? I still don't know. Blemiglug. Ugh, don't remind me. Anyway. Convince the dark-spectacled admiral to pursue peace talks. He listens intently, steepling his fingers. A certain voracious diplomat will be able to provide the same service more deeply. Yes, I wonder, without the influence of the Dawn Machine on the Admiralty, who the hell even is the voracious diplomat? At any rate, Mountain of Forms. Such a tremendous amount of paperwork, but very well. My aides will see to it. Sure enough, it's a lengthy wait before you're presented with the appropriate permit. The card, when it arrives, is thickly laminated. The moisture damage these tend to suffer is, apparently, a frequent headache for the clerks. I'll bet. What do you need, then? Interesting. He's still talking about what's left of the Empire, because in the original Fallen London, London took a rather bit of a beating due to their war with Hell going poorly. And then later, due to the Dawn Machine cultists requisitioning large chunks of what they had left. I think these are backwards. Anyway, so what happened to the Empire here? The Umwelt? Maybe they just took a beating the Ozal. Are there any in London? I'm fairly certain there are. I think this entire episode may very well take place in London because I have a lot to do here. We'll see. I might have time to swing by Kulakita as well. Gonna need a fair few of these. Let's see. Blemigan Trap. A Blemigan. You head to a Vale Garden pub and wait. Sure enough, it's not long before an ink-stained Blemigan shows up, spouting a nonsense soliloquy from the rooftop before diving into your fungal firkin. Ah, so mushroom poems are still a thing here. That's good to know. No, wrong place. Spider silk. Do I have a use for spider silk? Don't think so. Anyway. Engage an officer, the tidy veterinarian. Need a doctor? I'm looking to leave in a bit of a hurry. The tidy veterinarian is a surgeon who increases hearts. This officer comes cheap, but may cause problems. Fun. It's not like I don't already have a surgeon. 2 of them, actually. Fuck it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Welcome aboard. Fabulous, fabulous. No, don't touch my bags. Syringes, you know. Shall keep your crew as strong as oxen, and as nervous as horses. Oh joy, the creature known for killing itself at the slightest start. Ooh, increase my pages. Not very high, but she'll increase them. Invite the tidy veterinarian to dine with you. What more can she tell you about her qualifications? A reversed interview. Almost immediately, she has questions for you. Have you ever heard, she asks in a conversational tone, of the Venger Scorpion? You have not. How about the Beast of the Violet Express? Nope. The Addercop Plague? Doesn't ring a bell. The Feast of Gargoyles? No. The South Lindholm Cancer Trials? No. The list goes on for some time. And what about... She pauses pensively. The Glass Incarnation. When you once again answer in the negative, she lets out a monumental sigh of relief. Then I think, you magnificent bastard, that I'm going to be happy here. I think her questions told me a lot more than any of her answers would have. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, on to more wholesome folk. Like the cultist. Look at that bozo. What's up with his eyes? What's up with his hand? Dine with the gregarious occultist. A man or woman, you are still not sure, of science, they have a respectable, observation and fact-based career in medicine in London, despite their occult interest and cult leadership. But you see how their charisma might lure even the wealthy and the wise when a shine takes hold in their eyes. When they discuss matters related to the occult, a somewhat scary, intense zeal pulsates. Sounds fun. Unknown gods known to occult tomes. The occultist takes only the occasional bite of food, much more preoccupied with speech. My fellows believe there are unappreciated gods of the sea beyond those worshipped in London, beyond Gabriel and his worm brood. Moreover, we want to find them ourselves and offer them their due worship. To call them forth them, I think that's a typo. I merely must go to places where I can practice the rituals of the elements. Geomancy, pyromancy, hydromancy, and aeromancy. How about you learn the rituals of grammarmancy? Okay, sounds good. There is no greater power than the one others do not believe you possess. Mayhap. Hot stuff. Paint with the singular, unimpressive color of the wind. Drink it in. Drink it all in. It's hard to argue that all things are energies when confronted with a thrown rock. Adida or McCain? Crying Heights or Trojan's Rock? Cantai or Zitargan's Remains? And Enperen or the Old Magnanary. I don't think it matters which ones I do, as long as I do one from all four. I don't know. I haven't rigorously tested that. How about you then? Invite the dubious naturalist to dine with you. Finally, away from the redoubt, he grins. What surprising sets of specimens might we hope to encounter and examine? Oh, I'm sure we'll be encountering quite a few. I think I've hired a few. Whatology? You ask him about what interests him about nature. Within biology, ecology, botany, and zoology, I suppose I most prefer the fields of ichthyology, herpetology, entomology, mammalogy, mycology, malacology, and paleozoology. I suppose within those, I prefer articles on lepidopterology, conchology, hippology, betology. The ologies continue for some time. That's an odd way to frame it. You'd think ecology, botany, and zoology would be within biology, and then the rest would be within those three, because obviously botany and zoology are just study of plants, study of animals, and ecology is, study of how plants and animals interact with each other and their environment and all that. And of course, now, ichthyology, or however you pronounce it, is of course the study of fish, so it's not a real science because fish aren't real. Herpetology, study of reptiles and amphibians. Don't forget them. You'd think they'd be separate, but there's a lot of weird overlap. So they just stuffed them together. Then there's entomology, I don't know why I pronounced it entomology, that's ridiculous. Obviously insects, not, as you might think, the study of how words are formed. That's an unfortunate mistake to make. Mammalogy, guess what that's a study of. Then there's mycology, which I guess is why he formatted it this way, because mycology isn't part of botany or zoology, or I guess it would be part of ecology, but all of these things are. Sort of. But it is part of biology, because fungi obviously are not plants or animals. Malacology, despite the way the name sounds, is not the study of bad animals. That's actually cacozoology. See? From kakos, which is Greek, whereas mal is Latin. So, Malacology is instead the study of mollusks. You'd think it'd be spelled molluscology, but I don't know, maybe that was already taken. And paleozoology... Wait, isn't that just paleontology? I guess it's a field in paleontology? Probably. Lepidopterology, obviously, is study of butterflies and moths. Everyone knows this. That's a subfield of entomology, obviously. Everyone wants to specialize in lepidopterology, fucking casuals. Now, conchology is a field of malacology specifically studying mollusk shells, as opposed to the actual soft parts and such. Hippology, study of horses. Batology, not the study of bats, surprisingly. It's oddly enough a field of botany, study of brambles specifically. Which means it's actually within the first statement, not the second. My god, I've caught you in an inconsistency, you fool, you absolute cantaloupe. Anyway, in desperation, you turn the conversation to his practical experience in the field. How many animals has he observed directly? It depends what you mean, good captain. The geode of the redoubt contains many fine libraries, but little or no plantae, fungi, or animalia to speak of, let alone study firsthand. So the answer to your question would be none at all. He's never seen an animal? Would he like to? Why, yes. I think I would like that very much. Take the dubious naturalist to bestiary. Well, I assume we're not counting humans in that. Well, considering we're made in factories, apparently, maybe we aren't fungi, plantae, or animalia. I wouldn't count on that. Certainly. What else? Ah, yes, you. Oh, why haven't I... Whatever. What does she give again? Irons, veils, and hearts. Ooh. She's covered in meat stains and formaldehyde, and her oversized cleaver never leaves her side. My goodness, that thing's bigger than her head. Her poor hygiene doesn't visibly make it into the food, but you're sure to surreptitiously check everything she gives you, regardless. Invite the noxious butcher to dine with you. Fine, fine. But I'm staying on the clock. Drinks are on you. Okay then. Good thing we're in London. I have absolutely no idea where the hell else I can get. I think there's one other place to get mushroom wine? No, two. But they're both worse prices. Anyway. Heart's Desire. For all that she's an impolite hurricane in the kitchen, you'd hoped that her table manners would be better. No such luck. She belches, swills her wine, refuses to wipe her face. The steak, at least, is delicious. Of unidentifiable origin, but tender as warm butter. The butcher seems less than impressed with her own work, however. Can't cook the way I want to, she gripes. Conventional meat is all flavor, no substance. Anything really worth eating is here. She taps her ample chest. The heart, the heart. That's where the vitality is. Eat enough of those and it'll do more than fill you up. Shame all my clients are too cowardly to try it. She leers at you. But you're different, aren't you? Collect hearts for the noxious butcher from across the sea. The heart is destiny's engine, but in a pinch, it makes for a nice appetizer. Indeed. So this is her little storyline. We've got to collect hearts from defeated Z-beasts, mostly. And yeah, there's a total of 15 hearts across the Z. 9 of which are to be obtained via, what else? Killing Z-beasts. The other 6, well, they have other sources. Increase your hearts, of course. It was called Heart's Desire, but really the apostrophe should have been after the S. Acquire 5 or more of them, and you will be able to experience a truly exceptional luncheon. Acquire all 15, and taste something truly singular. At any rate, I think that's all I have for my officers. Sure, let's do some carousing. A marvelous night out. Sea shanties, fine food, and the warmth of a pub fire. And something more. Good to see the Wolfstack docks haven't changed. Trouble and romance. That night in Wolfstack, you find yourself sharing a table with... In the original Sunless Sea, this choice mattered. Not certain it does here. Especially since... presbyterate accent. I don't know that the presbyterate exists here. Let's go with the spy, since she seems slightly less reality-breaking. An interlude. The next morning, she gives you a pewter locket. As you reach for it, she grips it briefly in her fist. "Don't you dare forget me," she says. She never quite smiles. Alright. That'll be real important, because you always want to try and have a bit of romance as quickly as you can, pretty much. Because that's the key to getting a scion, which is slightly important. Ooh, what's this? A crisp letter has arrived for you. It's marked urgent in 3 different places. The Blue Prophets call your name. Ill news, fated friend. It is our solemn duty and enormous displeasure to cheerlessly inform you that those who foretell certain doom have decreed your time is short. The specter of death hangs over you. Is this some sort of phishing scam? We cannot say when or how death will come for you, only that it will come soon, swiftly and inescapably, for the predictions of the Blue Prophets are never wrong. But all is not lost, for at the Crying Heights Manufactory exists a means of defying death itself, for an entirely reasonable price. Oh, here we go. You too can become one of the many notable figures to persist beyond death, carrying on as though the curse had never befallen them. You cannot afford to delay. Come to Crying Heights today. It rhymes, so it must be true. What a load of taff. Anyway, could use a restful night considering nightmares. I have enough money to go up to the surface, but why? There was one other thing. Let me just swing over to the lightship real quick to give him the recent news and then pop back, hopefully with a fresh thing, because there was something I saw but left. Go. If I was some sort of weirdo, I could pop back and forth between these to raise their favors relatively quickly, but I'm not going to do that because that would be lame. There we go. Good timing. Ooh, an inspection by the Ministry of Public Decency. Some things are too illegal for the Customs Service to admit the existence of. The Ministry are here looking for those. Not looking very hard, apparently. Wow. Red honey, cerebral extract? Liquid melancholy. That looks and sounds like the tears of the bazaar. 500 echoes to clear Well, maybe it scales with something, I guess. Suspicion, I suppose. You shrug and invite them to search your ship as thoroughly as they would like. Oh, sweet! Lost Menace's suspicion. They leave scuff marks on the newly scrubbed decks and take great pleasure in tangling the rigging. They find nothing more dangerous than moldy ship's biscuit. Don't underestimate the danger of a moldy ship's biscuit. Ooh. Yeah, here we go. Wander a darkened street. You cannot say at first what draws you in this direction. Then, you know. Engage an officer. He's the man. It's simply a skull in the display window of a shop for antiques and curios. Okay. And apparently he's going to be my first officer. My first officer. Welcome aboard. Something draws your gaze into its ocular cavities. A pleasure, child. You are almost sure you hear it say. Maybe, more simply, someone passing by was speaking. Is that moth atop it important? A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. Ha. No way to talk to him. Unsurprisingly. Well, I'll take the pages and hearts, certainly. I could get a boost to one of my stats, but honestly, this is more worth saving for, well, merchant venturer. An urchin tugs your sleeve. Governor wants a word. A brooding figure waits at the lamplight's edge. Okay, that confirms that there are still urchins. I'm still not sure whether there's more or less of them. Speak to the merchant venturer. I have need of a reliable agent. Failing that, an inventive one. Here are my requirements. Well, I'm certainly at least one of those things. An opportunity for profit. He has very specific needs, but it'll pay much better than market rates. And he won't ask how you came by these things. Hunting trophies? Skintalack. This guy had a whole thing in the original Sunless Sea, of course. I think those are different, but I could be wrong. Ooh. News from abroad. The paper reeks of a jingoistic need to stir up drama. The shogun's military posturing is heralded as the beginning of a new conflict. The Ozao have captured a small fishing vessel, which of course can only mean they are gaining power. There's a confusing interview with a song spider who seems happy to just be in the news. A song spider, huh? Of the Umwelt dynasty, their only mention is about a charitable giveaway they're hosting for struggling Z captains. Wait a tick, you're one of those. Alright. 39 terror, naturally. Well, I won't say no to charity. Let's just buy our usual here. 5 of these and... was it 6 and 11? Yeah, it must have been. Anything else we might need? Oh, right. Cannonballs. Feel a lot safer if I had, say, 100 of the buggers. Or maybe 200 would be... yeah. There. Doesn't that feel safer? Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, I've got time. Let's go to Kulakita. Wanna know where Kulakita is? I'll show you where Kulakita is. Up, of course. Oh. Restless nights. In the watches of the night, you pad softly past the hatch to the crew quarters. A man cries out softly in his sleep, desperately. another. Now this, well, potentially useful, but if you want to reduce terror, ignore them. The captain can't be seen to take these things seriously. Silence at the breakfast table. With the breakfast club. The crew is subdued as they take their meals, but all is quiet in the next watch. Ooh, did they ever... Ooh, yes, Claiborne Place. I didn't bother to go here last time. Did they actually add anything here? Last time I did a playthrough of this, that was Jack. Is there a Blemigan? I forget. Let's see, Blemigan. Nope. Above the cliffs, an imposing manor. Inside, one of the Nayath's most prosperous and private families. Don't I fucking know it. Examine the front entrance. Is the family accepting visitors? Doubt it. Not open to strangers. Then how is anyone supposed to not be a stranger? The butler opens the door and politely shoos you off like a stray when you admit you do not know the family. Examine the side entrance. It is enshrouded in grand mosses and shrubbery, so hidden that one would not even see a person coming in or out of it. You suppose that is intentional. No need for family or their guests to notice each staff's entry and egress. Staff only. The door leads to a well-furnished kitchen, but you scarcely have time to take it in before the girls there tell you to sod off. Examine the well. It stands a ways apart from everything else. An empty well? You drop a nearby rock down the well and hear it clang against the rock. Where do they gather their water? Then you hear the plop of the splash. It bounced off the rock and then into the water. Examine the mound. Two girls, aged 13 or so, are playing on top of the mound, telling violent stories with dolls and giggling. Are the violent stories about dolls and giggling, or a massive mound? Oddly, no graveyard or crypt houses the family's dead. You scout the island, then ask a footman smoking a pipe behind the staff house to be sure. No, every time someone dies, a body is entered into the mound. You notice the mound is rather large. Examine the park. Perfectly groomed Nayath grass across the lawns. What even is Nayath? Whatever. It must require a sizable staff of groundskeepers alone to keep this place. Mushroom patches. In place of a floral garden, plots of mushrooms grow. Well kept by the staff, but oddly chosen. A highly fatal selection of species. A few psychoactive, a few with tranquilizing properties, many deadly. Not the usual kind of mushrooms grown on such manors. At least 7 of these species would be illegal in London's jurisdiction. Sounds like my garden. But then, you'd be surprised what you can build an immunity to. Or, well, resistance. Technically speaking, you're never really immune. Take stock of the manor. Perfectly maintained, perfectly isolated, yet within sight of London. It appears a little slice of heaven in the Nayath. Private affairs. There's nothing in the harbor but your own ship and the family's private boats. Nevertheless, from the sounds inside, they appear to be having a party, one to which no one else is invited. That, a passing footman is keen to remind you, includes you. Toddle off now, there's a good captain. Okay then. There might still be nothing there, or I might need to figure out how to increase that quality. That was already there before, by the way. That little quality thing beside each one. I even digged into the code just to see if there was absolutely anything I could do with it, but no. Don't know if that's the case now, though. Haven't digged into Haven't been doing a lot of digging into the code. You understand. Alright. Here we go. Well, here's Sanguine Island. Another one of those weird ports that popped up where there wasn't a port before. The rich, unlovely tang of blood and bat droppings. Here we go. Finally deliver these guys. Despite the presence of the swarm, Kulakita has a thriving population and sees considerable trade. Across the waters, Sanguine Island is free from the worst of the infestation. But no one comes here. Attempt to enter the Acropolis. The entrance looms, vast and dark. Denied. You do not even see what it is that strikes you. All you feel is a rush of air and a kick from clawed feet, and you are sent hurtling back down the steps, all the way to the makeshift dock. Claws, huh? Deliver the burly twins to their destination. One of them finally speaks. We'll be needing 2 of your lads as well. On this, they seem unwilling to compromise. A scent grows stronger. The group vanishes into the Acropolis for some time. Only one of the twins returns, alone. The others will be staying, he says firmly. To the Phantom Snarl next. He makes no offer, nor promise of payment. Bound for the Phantom Snarl. That's... not that. I think that's near Bestiary. I remember having a bitch of a time finding... Oh! Don't you dare forget me. You stand on the bridge with the likely lass's locket in your hand. With enough time and effort, you could break her heart, or she yours. It's a risk for both of you. Shore-bound lovers grow lonely, and Z-captains die young. Close your hand over the locket. The Z air is cold, but the heat of your blood has warmed the metal of the locket. Keep it close. Good times. Actually getting ourselves a scion will take a bit of doing. Recurring nightmares. You have begun to dream of a dark lady. Her features pluck at strings of memory. A stalker in the gloom. Wherever you are, she follows. Your nightmare will come upon you from time to time, inspiring terror. Gain restful nights at your lodgings to help you resist it. If you defeat it, you may gain a secret. Kind of a misleading thing, both in the original Sunless Sea and in even more so in Sunless Sea Rewritten. Because resisting it is the opposite of what you want to do to defeat it, to gain that secret. And in Sunless Sea Rewritten, rather more than a secret is on the line. Anyway, Kulakita. A crush of insects dominates this place. Crush is an interesting word for it. Ah, shit, I forgot foxfire candles. There are buildings in the distance, within pillars of smoke that carry the scent of ash on the air. Around them, the endless buzzing and humming of the swarm. You can get foxfire candles here, but they're 10 echoes more expensive. You can sneak past the swarm with fire. The swarm fears smoke. Perhaps that's enough. Give a prancing pony to the swarm. It's tough and hardy. It should provide a well enough gift, or at least a distraction. Are there Blumigans here? No. I don't blame them. Compose a port report. The humming, the humming. There are comings and goings, even here. Ships bearing supplies and sacrifices. Immigrants and emigrants alike. An unwelt corsair floats smugly close to the shore, unafraid of the swarm's wine. In the previous history, this was one of the tomb colonies where bandage-wrapped tomb colonists would go to live out the rest of their miserable lives. Here is the endless buzzing and humming of the swarm. What sort of swarm is it? We'll have to find out next time. So until then, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. Fuck you all so much for watching, and so long, suckers.
You're gonna be okay.